Hey there, baseball fans. Nathan Rohde and Shooter Hunt here with the latest episode of Coffee and Curveballs. Shooter, we put a nice little bow on the 2018 draft last week, and now we're looking ahead to 2019. So we got a good show ahead of us today, talking just a little bit about the draft last week, but obviously focusing very much on the future that is 2019.
It took all of 10 minutes for me to ask you, are you ready for 19 now? And you were not in that moment, but hopefully you are now.
No, it took me about 10 minutes and 1 second to smack you, but and the focus is certainly shifting. But real quick, just to look back, 2018 draft went off last Monday to Wednesday. We had a special edition of Coffee and Curveballs with myself and David Seifert going over the draft, some of our favorite picks from each day, and then our favorite drafts overall. So be sure, if you missed that episode, to click back one, check it out, and then catch up on the future with 2019 in this one. But Shooter, what was the experience like for you? I mean, for me, that was my 11th draft really working it, and for you, you really kind of dove in this year helping out with the coverage, and you seemed a lot more invested. So what was the experience like, really focusing in on those 3 days?
Well, it was a lot of fun to watch you go through just how much work the draft entails, where, hey, each pick's coming, and what was it, 3 to 5 minutes between picks? It's amazing how quickly that goes when you're trying to get content out there. But could we have had a better draft for excitement and not expecting a lot of stuff? It was every pick. It was, who is this going to be? It was must-watch TV for a baseball fan.
Yeah, lots of surprises in the first round. Obviously, for me, it was Libator falling all the way to 16. Going to the Rays, huge pickup for them. The Brewers getting Terang at 21, seemed unfathomable a year ago. So obviously that happened. So definitely lots of excitement and wackiness, which we expected. We kind of figured it was going to be a pretty crazy first round. Casey Mize had separated himself, and then from there it was really anybody's game. So definitely a lot of fun, and now we get to move on and talk about the next one.
And it's a great class, and I was lucky enough, which we're going to get to in a second, to seeing one of the big names in the 19 draft down in Florida after that.
Yeah, so let's look ahead to that 2019 class, and today on Coffee and Curveballs we'll focus on the state of Florida. We'll get into more details on more players later because we got lots of stuff coming up with summer coverage, so we'll be sure to talk about plenty of guys. But starting in Florida, we had the Florida Limited Series, which you went to right before the draft. Like, you literally flew in the morning of the draft from Florida. But tell us about the event and what it was like.
Well, it took everything I could not to talk to you about this, because you just had draft on your mind, and I'm trying to tell you, hey, there are some dudes down in Florida for this 19 class and moving forward. We had 3 days at IMG Academy in Bradenton, which is a gorgeous setup. No rain. 3 days in June in Bradenton on the West Coast and the Gulf side, and there was no rain, which you couldn't ask for more. Everything ran real smoothly. And you throw in the fact that there are a ton of talented kids all over, committed, uncommitted. It was a lot of fun to be down there.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like it. So let's talk about some of the draft guys from that class. And there's a left-handed hitter in particular that our audience is probably very familiar with already, and you are already going to anoint him as the best hitter in the class in Riley Greene.
Yeah, I probably could have done it in the past. It was just saying he was a top left-handed hitter, and then after the weekend, Riley Greene is the top hitter in this class. Just the way his approach at the plate, he's calm and relaxed. There were some questionable calls by umpires, and it was one of those where I made a comment to Doug Freeman, our director down there. I said, if Riley Greene took that pitch, that means it's a ball. So the umpire doesn't need to do much in this situation, but he just sees the ball so well. And then the barrel, the feel he has for the barrel, it's unassuming, too, because it's a long, I don't want to say lanky because there's some athletic strength in there, but his feel for the barrel and the ball screams off. I spent the whole weekend trying to get times down to first, but it's hard to get them because he hits a double or he hits a triple, and you just don't get times. But he just can really drive the ball to both gaps. He's got pull side power, but more than anything, his ability to perform on the big stage and produce results. It's not just, hey, he looks great in BP. This could become something. No, it's, hey, he's facing 90 to 92 today with a good slider, and he's raking. Mm-hmm. So he's just done nothing but produce. And I think he's got a chance to stick in center field, perhaps. He's a really good athlete. So we'll see. But he's outstanding to watch. So you're going to want to put that name down in Sharpie. We must watch Riley Green.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely got to look at him at area code underclass last year. Ball just sounds different coming off of his bat, so I'm looking forward to following him throughout the summer. But you also saw Tyler Callahan, who's a pretty good position player, but it sounds like he showed some ability on both sides of the ball while you were down there.
Yeah, I had to send some video over to Mike Current, the recruiting coordinator at South Carolina, where Tyler's committed, that, hey, this guy might be able to close some games for you if he makes it to campus, because he was 90 and 91, pounding the zone down, and had a nice little slider to go with it. But at the plate, he's a big, physical, left-handed hitter. He's a power-hitting left-hander. He played mostly shortstop throughout the weekend. I think he shifts over to third, possibly first base. But it's real juice from the left side. He, as we'll see later on in Bomb Squad, he went deep, but he does not get cheated. And we saw him in Jupiter when Hunter Barco had his breakout party.
Right.
He had great at-bats against Hunter Barco. Tough lefty, left on left, but his baseball IQ, he's just there, and he's going to be able to continue getting better because of that.
Excellent. And then a Miami recruit, a right-hander, Dylan Eskew, long and lean guy. You said he was 88 to 91 down there. Fill us in a little bit on what to expect from him.
Yeah, it's real easy coming out, and he's athletic. He's also a potential two-way guy for Miami, but steps across his body, really loose arm. It's just effortless. 88 to 91 down through the zone. Struggled a little bit with command, but has the big breaking ball that the more he throws it, the more he gets on the mound, it's going to become crisper. And I think scouts down in South Florida are really going to like him.
Excellent. And then wrapping up the draft portion of talking about the PBR Limited Series, we got Alejandro Torres, a Florida international recruit. You threw a Bartolo Colon on him. Now, is this 1995 Bartolo Colon or is this 2018 Bartolo Colon? Because those are two very different players.
95.
Okay, thank you.
It's that durable frame, but so if you're thinking like that, we saw him at the underclass area codes, but I mean, 93. Again, I was standing next to Doug Freeman talking about, hey, if this Alejandro Torres guy, if you tell me in the spring that you just saw him up to 96, I would not question it for a second, because he's got that in there, and he repeats everything well. He's an athletic kid, has a real nice slider, which I think is going to get even better the more he throws it. It was a little bit inconsistent in his outing, but the velo's there. It's clean. I like what he could become next spring. And another one that you're going to have to go check out down there in South Florida, as if you weren't going to go to Florida during the spring, though.
No doubt. So we talk a lot about draft guys, and even if we are talking about underclassmen, it's never a surprise that these guys are committed. We've talked along about how quickly the recruiting game goes. But that doesn't mean there isn't uncommitted talent available out there, and it sounds like you saw plenty of it while you were in Florida. Why don't you give us some names of some guys that are uncommitted that might be changing for soon?
Yeah, and there are way more than the ones that I'm just about to spew. So look forward to those and On the Hunt and other articles coming out of the Florida Limited Series. But Blake Wright was a shortstop for the top tier Roos 2020, who just really balled out at the top of their order. Quick hands, really aggressive at the plate, and made some good plays at short. Richard Benitez, listed as a third baseman, possibly a shortstop, but he just hit. And the way his hands worked at the plate, the load, everything was real nice. Gap to gap, also showed the ability to go the opposite way. He's a good one to watch. Jacob Starling for the FTB team. He's a guy I've seen in the past. Probably a little bit smaller, shorter, but the hands really work at the plate, and he looks like a Florida kid. He just knows how to play the game. He's real good at shortstop. The hands play. I think he can stick it short moving forward. He's only going to get stronger, so he's a good one. And then a 21, Renzo Gonzalez. Saw him up to 84 on the mound from the left side, but I think he's even more so. He could be a hitter. Outfielder and center field, good-looking athlete, left-handed swing, uphill, flat through the zone. It's really nice. And then I give one shout-out. There was one team not from Florida there, coming out of Montreal. I hope I pronounced this right. Simone Lusignan.
I would assume if it's from Montreal, it's got to have some French inflection in there. Unfortunately, I took Spanish in high school, so I'm not.
Yeah,
even
I was trying my best
there.
Cajun that I got from some of my friends down in the bayou in Louisiana, but I don't think it worked out. I'm sorry, but you're going to be all right because he's a big. I'd said wrote down a note. Looks like Drago from Rocky IV. It's a really nice frame. He was 88 to 90 with the fastball. Still a little bit raw, but just the talent that's there. And hoping that he comes to the future games. So hopefully we'll get to see him there. But he's one to watch.
Excellent. Well, like you said, Shooter, lots of content coming out on PrepBaseballReport.com from the PBR Florida Limited Series. So be sure to check that out. Lots of names to talk about other than the ones that we just mentioned. But let's move on to our special segments. And who do you got for us this week, Shooter, in the Spin Zone?
Oh, finally, Spin Zone's back. And starting off with Dylan Eskew, we just talked about him, just breaking one off there. And then Ryan Kabarkis of Vanderbilt. I want to say Miami commit. I'll have to check on that. Anyway, Ryan Kabarkis breaking one off, real nice. He was striking guys out. Nelson Berkwich, he's a Vanderbilt commit. That's a sharp slider. Antoine Jean coming down from Montreal with that nice 1-7 breaking ball here. And then Justin Kohler, who had a real nice slider the entire time. 19, committed to West Virginia.
Excellent. And then we also have Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad, my favorite one, even though I'm a pitcher. But Tyler Callahan, he knew this. He gave a little flip there and gave a good trot around the bases. South Carolina recruit. And then we have two New York Bomb Squads. Angel de la Cruz from Grand Street Campus High School in Brooklyn. New Mexico junior college commit. He got it. And then Jordy Batista, a Bronx kid. Yeah, that bat flip's real. So there's Bomb Squad for you.
Excellent. We appreciate that look. I'm going to finally get out to some games here soon, so hopefully I'll be able to contribute on some coming episodes. But it's the summertime, Shooter. The draft is over. We're looking ahead to 2019. So what is on the schedule for you?
Well, we got area code tryouts going up and down, but I am going to be headed to the Midwest Prospect League at Grand Park in Indianapolis. So I'm really excited to see the top underclassmen in the Midwest. I'm going to be all over that this weekend.
Excellent. I myself got an East Coast Pro tryout, PDP workout to check out, as well as the area code game tryout for the kind of the Carolinas, Mid-Atlantic, Virginia area, I guess. So I'm sure I'll see some guys there. And then we roll right into the Tournament of Stars. So
a big one.
Should be pretty good. But that was a great look. PBR Florida Limited Series. Also checking out what's to come for 2019. Be sure to jump on PrepBaseballReport.com for a lot of content from that, not to mention follow-up from the 2018 draft that we did last week. We're a little delayed with the podcast this week because of scheduling stuff, but we'll have Matt Blood from USA Baseball on to talk to us about upcoming Tournament of Stars and some guys from that class. Shooter and I will go into more depth about some of the guys in that 19 class that we'll be following this summer for the draft. So, as always, jump on PrepBaseballReport.com and check it out. But for Shooter Hunt, I'm Nathan Rohde. This is Coffee and Curveballs, and until next time, we'll see you guys at the ballpark.